just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.
Now that's the inspiration I need to get started on a project. Hi, David here, and the project for today is replacing the tie rods on the 98 Ford Contour. And I didn't know I had a problem until I went to get some tires, and they told me my right inner tie rod was worn out, and I thanked them and I said I'll take care of it. I got it home, I jacked it up, grabbed the tire at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position, gave it a shake, and nothing. So I thought, well, maybe the technician needed a boat payment or something like that. Anyway, I thought about it and I thought I better try another test. This time I lowered the car with the weight of the car on the tires, and I shook the steering wheel, and sure enough I could hear play in the tie rods when I was shaking the steering wheel. So let me try it, see if I can reproduce that. Listen carefully. Hope you can hear that. But I bought some tie rod ends. This is what I've got. Just pan out. Got a Moog EV319. I bought two. I figured with 161,000 miles that I'll probably, if one's worn, they're probably both worn. And it looks like on the reference chart that the application for the right and the left is the same. Anyway, there's only one stock number that's offered. And what you get is they give you a nut for the outer tie rod end to lock that down. They give you some thread locker, and this is what the part looks like. And you notice there's some flats on here. There's not much clearance in there, so you have to use a crow's foot wrench to grab it and get it out. If you're not familiar with a crow's foot wrench, that's a crow's foot. It's not the right size, but that's what it looks like anyway. It's for applications where there's no room. So the word on the Contour forum is the factory tie rod has no flats on it. You have to use a special tool to get it off. And since I'm the original owner of this car, I know that these are the original factory tie rods, unless I went sleepwalking and took the car into a shop and had the tie rods changed when I didn't know it. I guess that would be my camera died on me. There we go. That's what the tool looks like. It's got a 1/2-inch drive on it. It's got this serrated part that comes out. Can you see that? This is called the universal tie rod wrench. Don't see any part number on it. Yeah, no part number. Anyway, that's what I'll be working with. I'm hoping I can use it to install it as well. I'm assuming I can. Taking a measurement from the first tread to the first tread. It looks like it's 62 3/16 or 62 1/4 from tread to tread. That's what I'm going to shoot for when I put the tie rod ends back on. Also, I'm going to count the turns on the tie rod ends and try to match that up as well. Of course, you do have to get a front end alignment, but I want it to be in the ballpark when I drive it down the road. Alright, Alright, am I the only one that's freaked out that Ford doesn't use cotter pins on their tie rod end bolts? And I'm going to loosen the lock nut before I pop the tie rod end out of the knuckle. And then remove the tie rod end, make sure you count the turns so you can put the same number of turns on when you replace it. That's a clamp on the outer boot, get a pliers on that and squeeze it to expand it and then pull it off. That clamp on the inner boot's hard to get to, it's way deep in there. Get a screwdriver in there, pry it off, it's a metal clamp and it's not reusable, so you're going to have to either get another one or use a zip tie and just zip tie that in. And I'm going to have to move the camera out of the way in order to get to it and pry it off. Okay, that's what we got. And when you put this back on, you got a little vent tube that you got to line this boot up with. Don't forget that. And that's what it looks like in there, see that? So we gotta get our tool on there. Let me feel around and see if I could feel any flats. They were not lying, there's no flats on there, so I gotta use that special tool to take this thing off. I think maybe I could breathe some life back into this old boot with spraying it down with a little silicone spray. The inside and outside. I don't know if it's going to do it any good or not. You never know. Let that sit for a while. Okay, let's slip the tool on. Okay, tool's on. Got my 1/2-inch drive extension in there. Put a breaker bar on it, give it over. That thing's Loctited in there. I'm hoping I not have a lot of problems. Oh heck man, I had to stand on that breaker bar in order to break this thing loose. But I think I got it. Heck no, I don't have it. It's still on there tight. Maybe it's just too tight for hands. I'll put the wrench on it again. First you don't succeed, try a torch. Well, if that tie rod wasn't bad then, it sure is now. Look at that. Hope it comes out now. Well, it looks like this tool just broke. This part just pulled out of there. And the teeth are stripped. Can't get a grip on the tie rod anymore, so I'm going to have to call this project a failure. I don't know any other way to getting this off. See that in there? You can't turn the tie rod. The tie rod just turns free in that collar. I suppose if I had a torch I could weld this in place and get a pipe wrench on the tie rod, but I don't have those facilities. So I'm going to have to end it here. Well, Eric, I couldn't get it done this time. I'm not blaming you. What did Ford save by not putting flats on those tie rods? $1 a car? Maybe $1, maybe 50 cents. I blame myself. But I think I would have had an easier time if I would have had a tie rod that would have fit a for real tie rod tool. This tool just didn't cut it. Its weakness was right here, this hole elongated, and the steel on these serrations on here and in there, it was all smoothed out, so I couldn't really get a grab on this thing. I don't think this is a common tool. I don't think the auto parts store have a tool like this, but I could check that out. But in the meantime, I need the car on Monday. I think I'll take it to the shop, get some help. And thanks for watching.